Welcome back. I'm Julian Walker, and this is part 2 of chakra psychology. We're talking about this mythic image that has become really ubiquitous in New Age circles, in yoga circles, and it's these 7 balls of energy, these 7 wheels of light that go from the base of the spine up to the crown of the head, and they're the colors of the rainbow. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet as they go up the body. And that should be a clue right there, right? The fact that the colors of the rainbow are matched perfectly to these energy centers right away should be a flag that, hey, this is a symbolic language, right? So I said last time that Joseph Campbell said the mythic image is an energy generating device that points us in the direction of being fully alive. The mythic image is an energy generating device that points us in the direction, it's a signpost that points in the direction of being fully alive, right? That it's not to be interpreted just on the surface in a superficial way, in a way that's like, well, do you believe in it or do you not believe in it, right? That would be the more conventional, literalist, kind of religious way of relating to mythology. Joseph Campbell has another amazing quote where he asks, he would do this often at the beginning of his public speaking, he says, well, what is mythology? And then he would answer, other people's religion. Right? So very often if you talk to people about mythology, they're like, oh yeah, the mythology of the ancient Greeks, the religion of the ancient Greeks, or the religion of the Aztecs, or whomever, right? So what is mythology? Well, other people's religion. Okay, that's interesting. He says, what then is religion? And here's the answer, misunderstood mythology. And that orients us really, really well in terms of thinking about mythology in general, but the chakra system specifically as a form of mythology. And as a form of mythology, it doesn't mean what it means in the conventional sort of mainstream society where a myth is something that's false, right? You say, oh, that's just a myth. In this sense, mythology in the high sense means there are layers of information and meaning that have something to say about the important aspects of what it is to be human. And when a mythology, as Joseph Campbell says, is a signpost pointing in the direction of experience of being fully alive, when a mythology has that active, alive effectiveness, it's always guiding you into some kind of experience, some kind of initiation, right? There's some kind of ritual, contemplative, going inward, opening up, facing your dragons, right? Facing your demons, taking the journey, discovering the capacities or the powers that you didn't know you had, having that big breakthrough where there's a crisis and on the other side of it, you have found the treasure. And then what do? You bring the treasure back out to your community. And in the stages of the hero's journey, typically that Joseph Campbell laid out, typically when you bring the treasure back to your community, they say, what's this? We didn't ask for this. We don't want this. This doesn't seem valuable to us. And yet as the person who's taken the heroic journey, as the person who's gone inward, as the person who's maybe traveled through the stages of what these wheels of light, these chakra energy centers represent, there's a transformation that happens, and there's a way of looking at reality and at what it is to be human in a more liberated, integrated, informed, perhaps we could even say enlightened way. And so then, for any of you who are teachers or authors or healers, then the next stage of the work begins where it's like, okay, now how do I communicate about the powerful, genuinely powerful, initiating, life-changing, transformative experience I've had in a way that can draw the people in who might be ready for it but don't yet realize, right? Who might be longing for something but they haven't recognized yet that what they're longing for is actually this core kind of realization or truth or set of experiences. So on to the symbolism, on to the image, right? The image is of these 7 energy centers, the colors of the rainbow with a central column, and on either side of the column there are these snakes that are crisscrossing through the center. Each place where the snakes crisscross, you get an energy center, and at the top you have these wings, right? So red, orange, yellow, blue, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet at the top, the wings, and the sense of expansion, or often white light. This is a symbol that we actually see in multiple different traditions. So in the Greek and the Roman traditions, this is called the caduceus, and it's associated either with Mercury or with Hermes, two different sort of ways of representing the same archetypal energy, very often associated with the healer. And we see the continuation of this even up until today, where if you go to your local Save-On or Rite Aid or whatever the drugstore is, and you look for, say, a medicated shampoo, you'll see that symbol. You'll see the two snakes crisscrossing and the wings at the top. It still to this day carries an association of something to do with healing and with some kind of substance within whatever it is that you're buying that has special properties. And in terms of the Kundalini Tantra, one important aspect of it is the idea is that there is this sleeping serpent goddess at the base of the spine, coiled 3.5 times around the root chakra, or the first energy center, which is right at the base of your spine, and that sometimes through spontaneous means, sometimes through practices, sometimes through focusing the mind, or engaging in deep ritual, or doing yoga, or working with your breath, the serpent awakens. And when the serpent awakens, she starts traveling up through those crisscrossing energy centers. Now, this can be thought of as representing the beginning of a journey, a heroic journey, a self-transforming journey, where at each of the different levels, as the energy moves, you're going to be asked to look at different aspects of your life. Different things are going to come up for healing. Abilities that you haven't developed yet are going to need to be developed, and this is absolutely grounded in your real life, in your psychology, in your relationships, in your family, in your culture, right? This is about the real journey of turning inward and looking at what needs healing. Where do you need to grow? How do you get strong in this particular area and what it is thought to represent? So you have the indication of this mythic heroic journey where you're going to go through these stages of really facing where you need to heal and where you need to grow. But in addition to that, there's another piece that I really think has to do with why serpents are chosen to represent this particular process, why we see this serpentine imagery across different cultures. And I think it's been shrouded in secrecy, and I think it's been taboo and forbidden, and that the dominant religious orthodoxy has tended to want to repress it, because there is a direct, powerful, ecstatic, very, very expressive, alive, sensual, even verging on the erotic, but also very, very emotional and vulnerable, also very, very fierce and intense physical process that can happen. And we live in a subculture right now where I think the word energy gets used a lot in very vague and kind of airy terms, where like, oh, can you feel the energy? And only people who are really sensitive and super intuitive can feel the energy, all of that kind of thing. And I get that, and there are things about that that are beautiful and valid. But there is a potent, real, undeniable, hair-raising initiation into really having an experience of energy moving through your body that is not subtle at all. It's intense, and it's powerful, and it's life-changing, and it's very, very confronting. And what happens is, as you are dealing with certain aspects of your mind-body process, your body will tremble and shake and undulate, and there's literally a waveform, a smooth waveform that is seeking to express itself. Your ego is not doing it, it's seeking to express itself through your system. I think of it as a kind of profound body intelligence that is wanting to unwind tension and melt stress and heal trauma and come into a more fully liberated self-expression. And for me, this is what chakra psychology is all about. And so hopefully that is intriguing enough to have you join me again as we continue on with the series